morning. What a lovely day it is outside today, which means it's perfect to do a fitness fragrance review. That being said, it's a little bit chilly, and that means the fragrance I want to wear, I want it to be a little bit sweeter, a little bit more cozy. And I was very lucky yesterday. I came home to find this, a fragrance called Caramelised Dates. Now, those of you that love your Lush body sprays will know this sounds very similar to one of their fragrances called Sticky Dates. Yes, this is essentially a clone from Sticky Dates. My mum found it in Savers, which is a sort of discounted shop in England, in the UK. I don't think it's across the world, but it is a very good shop to just get like cheap foot creams or whatever you need. And yes, they are doing clones of Lush body sprays in there as well, and I cannot wait to wear this one on my review today. So if you haven't seen a fitness training review, essentially I'm going to do a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while wearing this fragrance. And we'll rank it on 5 categories. We'll look at its price, we'll look at its versatility, how much you can use it in different situations, projection, so how much I'm noticing during my run in terms of its strength. We'll also come back and do a room spray test where I'll spray my room, see how much it feels like a room. We'll look at compliment factor. Do I think this fragrance will get compliments? And also its longevity, where I'll spray my arm before I go to the gym. A few hours time will go by and have a shower. We'll just see if we can still notice the fragrance without reapplying it. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll read the sort of info on the front and tell you a little bit about what is in Caramelised Dates. Clue's probably in the name though, isn't it? First of all, if you haven't smelled the Lush body spray before, it's so nice. It's like this creamy caramel type smell, and that sort of sugary dates syrup, let's say, in the background is very, very sugary, and that vanilla just complements it in the background. It is so moreish, so nice. It's a super, super gourmand, mass appealing, and yeah, there's one reason why it sells so quickly is because it just is. It's just so good. It's cozy. That's the main thing I would say. Now, on there, the description says a warm, sweet scent with notes of caramelised dates. So again, that caramel, sugary smell, and sandalwood. Again, sandalwood, I just think sort of rounds off the edges of fragrances, prevents it from being too harsh. To comfort, soften, and beautifully scent the skin. So the main thing it's talking about here is sugary dates, a bit of caramel, and sandalwood as well, just to maybe take that aggressive synthetic edge off the top of it. It's really good. It does say here it's irresistible, and I think that is probably the best word to describe this phrase. It's very irresistible. But for those of you that do know Lush Sticky Dates, you probably want to know how similar it smells to that one. It's not bad at all. What I would say is there's more caramel in this one and there's more vanilla in Sticky Dates. This one doesn't feel like it's quite as creamy in my opinion. If anything, it smells more like a fragrance. I know that sounds weird to say, but Lush body sprays, again, if you've had them, you'll know that some of them almost smell so realistic. They actually do smell like food. You know, they genuinely do. I've had Let the Good Times Roll, which is a buttery popcorn type fragrance, and people have actually said it smells like someone's baking cookies in here, not assuming it was actually a fragrance. This one to me is definitely stronger in terms of the caramel is much, much heavier on the caramel. Maybe that's probably a bit of a clue in the name. Maybe this isn't quite a straight up clone, but the general vibe of this is obviously meant to replicate Sticky Dates, and actually that's not done badly at all. But we're going to head outside now. We're going to do the first 2 categories on my run. So we're going to talk about the price / value for money and also its versatility. So yeah, I'll see you out there. Well, it really is the start of another beautiful day, and of course that means it's a chance to do a fitness fragrance review, and I've been looking forward to doing this one. Caramelised Dates, the fragrance from Savers, the cheap Sticky Dates clone from Lush. Now, price / value for money. First of all, I've got to say, bless my mum, she would not let me pay for this one at all yesterday. She got one for me and my brother, and she wasn't allowing it, so it did mean I had to do some research just to confirm how much this one cost. And it looks like when this first came out, it was £2.99 for a 250ml bottle, and now it looks like it's £2.49 for a 250ml bottle. And I'm going to go pretty much straight into it here and say this is very rare that I do this, but I'm going to give it full marks and a bonus point. I'm going to give it 11 out of 10. Now, I did a review the other day of Milky Way, which again was another clone from B&M, which we sort of worked out. It looks like it's a clone of Lush Super Milk. And the reason I didn't give that one full marks was purely because it felt like it was 99% water and then literally like the tiniest bit of perfume they've added into it. It was so watery, it almost just ran off your skin. Now this one, I'll be honest with you, still feels pretty watery. You know, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of oil in this, a lot of perfume oil. But because you've got caramel, because you've got a bit of that vanilla sweetness in it and that date syrup, it does feel like it's longer lasting. Those notes are more dry down to fragrances, more in winter fragrances, which you want them to cut through the cold. And that's giving a little bit more staying power, which we'll go into later on. But the other thing as well is when you're buying this one, you're hoping it's going to smell like Sticky Dates. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's about 80% the same. It's definitely not as creamy as the original, but you could definitely use it in exactly the same situations, you know, for those cozy nights in, more casual settings. And yeah, it is seductive, it is alluring. And you're talking here, as I said, £2.50 for 250ml, which is 50ml more than the actual Lush body sprays themselves. And it doesn't smell, and maybe this is because it is quite watery, it doesn't smell overly synthetic, it's not harsh at all. But I think that sandalwood's playing a part in that, just sort of smoothing off the edges. And it's just made this very, very Morris fragrance for a ridiculously cheap price. As we said yesterday, there's cost that goes into obviously having the bottles, you know, the travel to get it into shops, and also obviously the staff that have to make this fragrance and the oils. And to be able to get this as a consumer for £2.50, to smell 80% the same as one of the most popular Lush body sprays out there, you cannot go wrong. So I've got to give it 11 out of 10. It is unbelievable, it is so good, and I'm really enjoying it on this cool but very sunny morning. Moving on to versatility then for Caramelised dates. How much can you dress this one up, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, if I had to be super stereotypical here, I always ask myself the question for this round, who would I put this fragrance on? What sort of age range? What sort of person would I put this on? And for me, just from my initial impressions, I'd say anyone 40 and under. It's a much more sort of casual type fragrance. It's very sweet. I wouldn't wear this dressing up particularly, but it's one where, again, if you're sitting at home, maybe watching TV with a hot chocolate, I could imagine putting this fragrance on just to cut through the cold a little bit. And again, meeting up with friends, I think it's fine because it's very inviting, it's very warming, and it's a very recognisable scent DNA. You know, let's be honest, in men's and women's fragrances, there's so many notes of vanilla, caramel and sugar combined together. And that's why gourmand fragrances are doing so well at the minute. There's a growing number of unisex fragrances because everyone likes these sweeter notes. And I think this is definitely straight down the middle unisex as well. Now, I did say obviously it's 40 and under, but compared to, say, Milky Way, I criticised Milky Way a little bit the other day, purely on the fact that I thought it smelled a little bit like a room spray. You know, it had that vibe of a bit of like a bubble bath room spray, bubble gummy smell. This one to me actually does smell like a fragrance, and I'm not going to say it's sophisticated or classy or anything like that, but I do feel like if you're an older person who does quite like those sweet fragrances, at least you feel like you'll put this on and someone would notice that you're wearing a fragrance. As we touched upon the start, it doesn't smell like you've just doused yourself in loads of syrup or someone might get you confused with smelling of food. It smells like a fragrance, and that means that if you really wanted to dress this one up, I wouldn't mind. But it's not a summer's day fragrance, it's not a workout fragrance. But again, where it's so watered down, it's not really uncomfortable today. It's not, you know, making me feel uncomfortable, it's not cloying, it's not nauseating. So in some ways, compared to Sticky Dates, it adds to it a little bit more versatility. But of course, as I said, it's definitely more suited to those sweeter occasions, you know, winter, night out, casual, just sitting at home by the fireplace as well. So versatility is probably actually a little bit better than Sticky Dates overall. And for that reason, just based on the genre of fragrance which it is, I'm going to give it a high score. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think this is brilliant. If you're looking for a versatile winter type scent, look no further than this, because this is not bad at all. It's now time to spray my room to test for projection. If you haven't seen this before, essentially I'm looking at how much this fragrance can fill a room. So we'll do 10 sprays. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So essentially, again, if this was an office and a colleague came in, would they notice it? If it was obviously sitting at home, which I am, would a family member come in, notice it, a friend come in and notice it? I also need to spray my arms. It's 12 past 9. I'm just going to spray each side 3 times. So this is the test for longevity. So again, want to see, once I've done my work, I had a shower 3 hours ago, by be about sort of 10 past 12, will I still be able to detect the fragrance? But in the meantime, we'll head downstairs. We'll talk about how much I noticed the fragrance during my run. How much projection did I get during that workout? Oh, honestly, that coffee is so needed this morning. But let's talk projection then for Caramelised Dates. I was surprised, and I was surprised in a really good way. I noticed this fragrance 4 or 5 times during my run. Now, is that super strong? No, but I got the odd whiff of it, and it wasn't just while I was stationary or with the wind behind me. It was when I was on the move, rushing about, and it did kick up. It really did kick up, and it goes back to, I think, these notes of vanilla, bit of caramel, that date sugary syrup smell just helps. It helps. It just sticks to the clothing, sticks to your body a little bit more, and it makes it better for things like projection. And what I always think, and again, this is how my mind works, if I was to buy 10 bottles of this, that is the equivalent of the amount you'll probably pay for Sticky Dates. Sticky Dates is about £28. And what I really notice is in the air, if I'm smelling it like this, it definitely smells a little bit darker than Sticky Dates, not quite as creamy. But in the air, it's basically identical. And I can get 10 bottles of this, which essentially they're 50 bigger per bottle, 500 or half a litre more of fragrance for the same price. It's unbelievable. It's so good. It's ridiculous value for money. And that projection is punching above its weight considering the price we paid. But of course, got to go do the room spray test or finish this drink. We'll head upstairs and then we can give our total score on projection. So up we go. Back at work tomorrow. I think these couple of days of rest will probably do my legs good. But let's see if we can smell caramelised dates as we approach my room. I'm expecting good things here. Okay, it's probably not as good as I was expecting, to be honest with you. It's probably 10%, 15%. No, maybe 20%. 20% as strong as when I sprayed it about 10, 15 minutes ago. Look, Milky Way actually did better than this one, but it didn't last as well on my clothing with running and stuff. This one's the opposite. This one smelled better on clothing, better on skin. Feels like it's going to do better on those things than if it's trying to stick in a room, if it's trying to, cling onto the air, cling onto the fabrics in the room. I don't think anyone would necessarily know that. I think this is one where if you sat in a room, it'll be fine. It will maybe give off a bit of a kick if you're spraying that many times. But I think if you're not really there and it's the phrase is almost just in the air like a room spray, it's not going to really cling on, just judging from this. And I'm a little bit disappointed with that because I felt like this one could be that fragrance, having these sort of sweet caramelized notes. So I'm going to give a little bit of a lower score than what I was probably going to before I came upstairs. Going to go for projection. I can't be too hard. It's so cheap, but I've got to try and keep these rounds separate, haven't I? 7 out of 10. It's okay. I think on your skin, spray it on you, which is ultimately what it's for anyway. People in your scent bubble or quite close up intimate settings will definitely notice it as you're spraying enough. But as a room spray test, I think you're going to have to spray even more. Maybe get through half of that bottle before people really pick up on it. But we're going to head to the gym now and we'll talk about compliment factor on the way. Do I think caramelized date is a compliment getting fragrance? Okay, so on to compliment factor for caramelised dates. Do I think this is a compliment getting fragrance? Well, there's no two ways about it. This is a clone of, for me, one of the biggest, most complimented fragrances you can own. Sticky Dates, it sold out so quickly on Lush's website when it first came out that they changed it from a limited edition to one of their best sellers. It's a staple in their collection now. And there's no reason why this can't be either. Look, for me, I still think, like I said the other day with these other cheap clones of the Lush body sprays, this is going to be best as a top-up spray. One you throw in your bag if you've got the original Sticky Dates, which, let's be honest, it's £28. It's not that expensive, really, is it, when we consider the price of some fragrances. This one's low risk. This one can then supplement that if you spray it on a lunch break, or, if you just want it for yourself at home for a few hours while, before bed, just coming out the shower. That's where this one's going to work best. And if you're going to use it in those situations, then you're going to get nice comments. People at home will say, "Oh, you smell really nice." Or again, if you've just literally come straight back in after applying it at work, I think people will pick it up straight away. But I think it's going to be one of them where they'll only notice it for an hour or two because it is so watered down. It does just run off your skin. There's, again, very little oil in this. It's 99% water, but it's fine. And it has got enough about it, in my opinion, for that first 1 or 2 hours for someone to catch a whiff of it. And again, for £2.50, you can quite happily overspray this one a bit more to get a little bit more performance, a little bit more projection. And yeah, again, I'd never worry about being uncomfortable wearing this around people because it is such a mass pleasing scent. Do I think I'm going to get any at the gym today? No, I don't. Look, just smelling it on my arm now. It's very, very pleasant, but it hasn't got a lot of kick about it. And yeah, that means it's going to go against it a little bit, I think, in terms of getting those compliments because it is so tame. But in terms of scent profile, huge mass appeal. And for that reason, I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. Of course, if we do get any at gym today, will bump up to a 10, but it is very, very soft. It's nowhere near as strong as Sticky Dates, that's for sure. Okay, so it's just gone 12:30. It's been just over 3 hours then, essentially, since I applied Caramelised Dates. I've had my shower, I've done my gym workout. It's time to see if the fragrance has survived at all. I do apologise, it is very windy, so I'll try and talk as clearly as I can and keep it to the point. Okay, so it is still there, but it's about 15 to 20% as strong. It's so watery. Again, we said this with the other Lush body spray clones that I've done. Keep the fun flowing, Milky Way. They are so watery and they're so watered down that there's barely any oil to stick to your skin. So once you've had something like a shower, yeah, it does fall a little bit victim to its cheap performance, essentially. But you've got to remember, this is cheap. I know we're keeping this round separate, but it is a very cheap trade. It's £2.50. I'm not expecting there to be a high percentage of oil in these fragrances. And look, the fact you can still smell it at all, and you're not often going to be having a shower at 12:30 in the afternoon, are you? So do I think 20% as strong as it was 3 hours ago, considering all the things I've done, is bad? Not really. Look, I think if I hadn't had a shower and I was just at work or something today, it'd probably be about 40% as strong as when I applied it. It's still going to be best as a top-up spray in your bag to supplement Sticky Dates. And I do think the smell is probably a lot more similar than I give it credit for. I actually think it's 90% as similar. It's just, again, just ever so slightly less creamy than the original fragrance. But is longevity a big selling point of this? No. But I've got to give a score, and I'm actually going to give a slightly higher score than maybe I should be here. I'm going to be honest with that. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm going to say this for one reason. I know I didn't give Milky Way as high a score as this and keep the fun flowing as high as this, but I do think, obviously, these videos are about 5 or 6 hours long, essentially, from when I started my workout to finish. I do think this one, compared to those other two Lush clones, would have a bit more staying power beyond, obviously, the length of this video. I think it was, say, 4 or 5 o'clock and I was doing this. If I compared all three, I think this one would still be the strongest, because you've got those more sweet vanillic caramel notes, which are known to be long lasting, and obviously that's why they have huge mass appeal. So I'm giving a slightly higher score just based on the fact I think the longevity of this one would push out further than the other two. And again, I know I'm keeping the price separate. You can't argue with that for the price of, say, £2.50, really, can you? But yeah, definitely more of a supplement rather than replacing Lush Sticky Dates. But when we get back, we'll count up all the scores and I'll give my overall thoughts. We are back. It's quite late now. It is. What is the time? 1:38 p.m. I have done 44,218 steps, all while wearing today this fragrance here, Caramelised Dates. Yes, the fragrance from the shop Savors. And what's the score it got? What did the total score add up to once we did those 5 categories? It's done really well. It's done very, very well. Much bigger score than I actually thought. I'd given it 44.5 out of 50. This is brilliant. This is one of those scents that, I'm going to be honest with you, if you're someone who's into Lush body sprays now, get it before it gets really popular. It's one of those that I think once people go in the shops and sort of smell this one, work it out, it's going to fly off the shelves. I just really sense it with this one, because it does smell so good. And you don't need to be a fragrance expert with this one, or someone who really cares about fragrances. It is so cheap, and I don't think it's anything, it's not groundbreaking, it's not really strong or anything, but the scent DNA is what people are looking for at the moment. That caramel, vanilla, sugary, syrupy smell is so mass pleasing. Alongside blue fragrances, gourmand fragrances are really popular, and this one is absolutely fantastic. It's so Moorish, but yeah, you do have to accept with this one, if you like beast mode, really strong scents, would I buy this one over Sticky Dates in that case? No, because I think the price of Sticky Date is fantastic anyway. But this is an amazing compliment getter, I think. And it will complement that fragrance well, as if you just wanted to put it in your gym bag, put it in your work bag, whatever. This is great. Wear it for yourself, wear it at home, wear it, sitting under a blanket on a cold day. It's good. And the one thing I'd really say that's impressed me more than anything with this is the scent quality. I've had fragrances that have cost in that sort of £20 to £25 range that have certainly felt more synthetic than this one. And again, it is very watered down, which is probably taking off a bit of that synthetic edge. but it's really good. It's really good, and I honestly can say it's about 90%, maybe even 95% the same as Sticky Dates, which is an all-time classic. It's in my top 5 fragrances of all time, and yeah, I'm telling you now, if you're watching this, get Caramelised Dates, but shh, keep it quiet because it is a really, really good scent. But yeah, definitely going to get that one again. I'm probably going to try and get it this afternoon if I can shop as well, because I think that's one I'm never going to get bored of. I might even take that one on holiday this year. But thank you very much for watching today. A few days off the running now, so you'll see a few fragrance drive alongs and yeah, a couple of other concepts I'll be working on over the next week or so. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, catch you later.